You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson with you here on a Monday as we have to get into it. Packers 35, Steelers 25. The Steelers drop their second straight contest to fall to 4-3. And Matt, was not a disaster from start to finish.
No.
It certainly was a different story in the second half.
1,000%. And I'll be frank, I'm going to say a lot of bad things about what happened over these next 2 hours and probably these next 5 days. But let's start with something good. Hey, what, might as well. I mean, if you told me that was Josh Jacobs' stat line, when the game ended and Micah Parsons made a play or two, he certainly did. Those were priority 1 and 2. You accomplished some things you set out to do. And I still think the offense overall and the special teams are strengths of the football team. But, there's many other layers. And again, the Steelers were winning this game at halftime. They were winning this game at the end of the third quarter. They were running the football. They were controlling time of possession in the first half. And then a tidal wave hit, of just a lot of bad things in a row. And against a good team, some of them out of your control, these bad things.
Yeah.
But that happens every week. I'm not making excuses. They didn't overcome them physically or mentally or emotionally. They crumbled and they let the tidal wave ruin the city.
Yeah, it's one of those Mondays where feels like there's more traffic. Nobody's letting you merge when you're getting on the highway.
Right.
The baristas at your favorite coffee place are all honked off and not smiling like they typically are in the morning. Because I think you're right. It went from a fun atmosphere, a highly anticipated game. You're up 16-7. You're up 2 scores, 9 points at halftime to
you're more than hanging with a very good team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? We are going to talk, Matt, we're going to spend so much time today, so much time tomorrow, probably even longer into the week, talking about this defense.
Yeah.
Where's the stars?
It's very frustrating.
What's going wrong? It's very frustrating, and it feels like it's moving in the opposite direction. Some of the things that we felt like they had been more buttoned up in the last couple weeks started going the opposite way again, like just poor tackling all over the place. At times, it looked like they were trying to play flag football or two-hand touch. Before we get into any of that, I thought, laid this out really well. Friday, the Friday and the Monday that we were reacting to that disappointing loss in Cincinnati.
Okay, yeah.
Where you were like, it's easy to scream about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and what was the secondary doing and what was the defense doing, and that wasn't good enough. But the biggest sin, you said, was allowing Chase Brown to do what he did.
I wanted to say those exact words again. I'm glad you did it. We're starting to get a little groove going, you and I like it.
But is it, for me, the biggest sin is continuing to have too many drives end off the golden toe of Chris Boswell.
Oh, I was looking at a different angle.
That's where I was going.
No.
In the 21st century here, Chris Boswell is on the short list of most valuable Steelers.
No question.
He really is.
He's an all-time great Steeler.
He's an all-time great Steeler. He's going to lead the franchise in points. He's going to be in the Hall of Honor one day. He's been team MVP before. All these different things. He is outstanding. He is with Justin Tucker as, I think, the kind of standalone best kickers of their era.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't be.
And where would they be without him?
Where would they be without him? Absolutely.
Right.
But where would they be if they didn't need to rely on him as much as they do? Like, we talked about so much in the start of the season how good this team was in the red zone, but I don't think that has been the case as of late. And it's like, I don't even know if I want to call it.
They only got the red zone once yesterday, though.
Only once yesterday.
They ran 3 plays in the red zone.
I think it would be too easy, too broad strokes to just say they get into plus territory, they get into the other team's half, and they go too conservative. Like, I think that's too broad strokes. But they too often in the, kind of lead up to the 20 yards before the red zone, end up settling. It's a 48-yard Boswell field goal, 50-yard Boswell field goal, 56-yard Boswell field goal. And so, again, those aren't like they're getting into the red zone and kicking 32-yarders.
No, right.
But you've got to find a play. I put this down here, Matt. Where is it? Right here. A lot of these scoring drives where they had the field goals from Boz, 7 plays, 9 plays, 7 plays. You have to find ways. You're already picking up first downs and extending those drives. Mm-hmm. You've got to get to the back of the end zone more often because 16-7 felt good at halftime. But in hindsight, it should have been 20-7. It should have been 24-7.
I always do halftime notes. I jot down all the stats I think are most important for the halftime for a podcast I do after the game, and I write 3 or 4 big notes. I'm like, they're in a good place, but touchdowns would have been nice.
And hey,
and that might come back to bite you.
And it did. And maybe it wouldn't have made a difference in the long. Maybe Green Bay ends up winning it at the death or something like that.
But they play different coming out of the half.
If you're up even 20-7, certainly 24-7, you're turning more of those 3s into 7s. It's a completely different game, and I think we can say that about this team a lot in the recent history, the last handful of years. A lot has changed. Mm-hmm. Coordinators have changed.
Oh, yeah,
roster has changed. Quarterbacks have changed.
Strengths and weaknesses of the team.
Strengths and weaknesses of the team. One thing, this song remains the same. Led Zeppelin. They're settling for field goals. They're settling for 3s too often, and it's coming back. They've gotten away with it plenty in the past, but it's starting to bite them plenty as well, too.
Against good teams, especially.
Against good teams.
And good quarterbacks and good offenses
yes.
that are going to score against everybody. That's how the league is now.
Totally.
So I don't forget. I'm not sure how I ever could forget. I thought where you were going to go with the Bengals stuff was the sin was Chase Brown. Remember how we would, just to rewind a minute, because I'm going to go to your Boswell stuff here in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, they erased that sin.
They did.
And Jacobs was a more difficult test than Chase Brown. That was goal number one.
You were right off the jump there. They did a great job in that department.
That was goal number one. They accomplished it on defense.
He had 2.5 yards per carry. We would have all signed in blood for that before the game started.
Exactly. But I'm going to say this all week because it fits the time of year. You can't give completions away like they're Halloween candy. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I don't know what you do on offense, what you do on defense, but I mean, you're not going to win games when they complete 20 in a row.
No, you're not.
I mean, come on. I mean, they scored every second half possession that mattered. That's now the sin. I overlooked. I said Chase is the best in the league. Jordan got 60 on you. I can live with that. Can't live with the Chase Brown stuff. Well, now the 10th best player in the league is getting 60 on you. That's a problem. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I don't envy Tomlin, but as he has said, that's why I'm well compensated, and that's why he's been doing this a long time. He's won a lot of football games in this league. He has to look at himself in the mirror today and say, okay, do I have to coach differently because my defense stinks? Especially on a down-to-down basis. I've looked at TJ and Cam in the eye, and I trust those guys to no end, and they've bailed me out 1,000 times. And I'm not singling them out. They've just been here a long time, and they're awesome, But there's Tomlin, who, without question, is the most conservative coach on 4th downs. He will punt more than anyone out there. Now, conservative doesn't mean bad, contrary to popular belief. It doesn't mean you should just go for it every 4th down and see where the chips land. But he has to now come to the realization of, if I can't trust this defense to ever bail me out or ever get off the field or just gives away completions like Halloween candy, I can't play for field goals anymore.
No.
I mean, we're never going to win the race in the end on the point race. And, okay, Aaron, we love you. You're playing well. But still the offense isn't exactly, but definitely isn't real capable, nor are most, but this one less than most. You take a penalty, and it's 3rd and 12. You take a sack. You have a tackle for loss, inevitable bad things, but they have to stay ahead of the chains. But he might have to start looking at things like, okay, well, I'm going to need 4 downs to do it now instead of 3.
Sure.
And if
paint the barn red when you got red paint.
Right. That's the best thing we got going for us is and the beauty of those type of things is I hate the tush push, but they're the best example is the Eagles know if I get to 2nd and 6, or if I get to 3rd and 6, I can run the ball twice. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
you
need
just
6
change.
here. I need 4 here.
The Lions are a great example. Like, these are the best offenses in the league. Don't get me wrong. And that's where Tomlin's got to be like, well, my offense isn't quite as high-powered as those, but I might need 4 downs to get me those 10 yards, and I might have to play call accordingly. All right, 3rd and 2, I can take a shot here because I know I'm going to run the ball next time.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like,
you
when
see
everybody's
a lot of that
crowding
from
the box.
Eagles as well, too.
Huge, right.
Yep.
Everyone crowds the box against Gibbs and Montgomery. I'm going over the top to Jamison Williams, and if I don't convert it, I'm still going to go for it at midfield, you know? So I think he's going to – I mean, he's the only one that can do that. That's not a coordinator thing. That's not – that's a head coach, Do I have to now view this team differently? Him, like myself, like everybody, looked at this defense and thought they can be really good. They got great players. Well, they're not playing good. And when they don't get splashed, they don't win. And now, over the course of the entire season, on a down-by-down basis, they're like the worst in the league. I mean, just success rate, they live on splash, and they're really good at splash. And splash will come again, folks. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But if I can't stop anyone and I give completions away like candy, I think you're right that we love you, Boz, but you can't be the team MVP.
The way that you said that, I think back in training camp or whenever, is perfectly stated. And again, I know specifically in this example, and we could go through, again, there's a lot of examples to back this up, but specifically in last night, it's very easy for me to do the hindsight thing.
Oh, that's the benefit we have. We're not on the sideline. Right.
I will be completely transparent. It's not like when they trotted Chris Boswell out, that trio of times in the first half, I'm up in the broadcast booth pounding the desk like, come on, you got to go for it.
Yeah. What on earth are you thinking? Right.
But it feels like, again.
And at that time, they looked like the better team.
At that time, they looked like the better team. But, man, there is such a large sample size now of 31 points not being enough in Cincinnati, 25 points not being enough last night. And, Matt, you kind of talked about.
And you have to really think that with the Colts coming to town. They score 30 like it's their job. And then they're resting everyone.
Like it's giving out Halloween candy.
And they're resting everybody in the fourth quarter.
The trends, and we talk a lot about trends, right? I mean, one-offs can happen. It's the National Football League.
Sure.
It's weird things happen.
That doesn't mean you don't steer the boat the same direction.
Exactly.
You build a big plan in the offseason and you make small alterations. But sometimes you got to look at it and be like, our plan ain't working.
No, it's not.
We can't play man coverage. We can't stop people from completing passes,
And some real kind of telling stats in that regard. 4 of the 7 games this season, the Steelers have given up 30 points or more. Mm-hmm. Allowed 30 points or more in 4 of 7 games this year. Matt, they've lost the time of possession battle in 6 of 7 games this year.
Yeah.
They have
Despite dominating it at the half this week.
They have been outsnapped in all 7 games this year.
I know. It's crazy.
I mean, it's those are trends now.
These are these are basically facts at this point.
And so I think that's a very kind of, astute way that you put it. It is the classic, when you've got red paint, you paint the barn red. When you've got yellow paint, you paint the barn yellow.
You thought you had yellow paint, but you have red paint.
And that's the difficult part.
You bought yellow paint, you opened the thing, and it's like red.
Well, it's like, what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
You got to adapt. I mean, you have to do something differently. You absolutely have to. And it becomes more of a challenge now because guess what? Your bye week's in the books. You're not going to have time to do a bunch of self-scouting and reflecting.
And we're back to losing people with injuries.
Your long week now, 10-day week from Thursday Night Football is in the books.
Right.
And as you mentioned, yeah, man, Deshaun Elliott, that is one of the last guys you want to see go down on that defense.
Yeah.
You lose a Quale as well, too.
And Ciamalu has a double ripple effect, too.
And
you just took the whole,
that's a
whole
great
chapter
point.
of
We
the
haven't even
playbook
mentioned that
and had to
yet.
throw it in the fire,
And I think that was a kind of, that was a handcuffing them a little bit early on.
Oh, yeah.
Because we saw, I mean, they threw a pass to Anderson. Was that the first series of the game or second series of the game? Early on, they threw the pass to Anderson. We knew we were going to see more of that. Then all of a sudden, that changes a lot for the offense. Absolutely losing Sayamalu.
Oh, that 6-0 line, huge jumbo package is kind of awesome.
It is.
I mean, that's a
tough.
real find.
It's tough to game plan against. It's
really tough to game plan against.
It's tough.
Nobody
to play
wants
against.
to play like a 4-4 or a 5-3 defense.
Especially when you know Darnell Washington can slip behind you and take that thing for 30, 40 yards.
And remind me, I really want to ask some of our beat reporter guests throughout the week, might you promote some other O-lineman to do it? If Anderson's my left guard,
is there anyone else you trust to that level?
Is there someone you'd put at left guard and make Anderson the 6? Like, do you have to abandon the 6-0 line thing? Frankly, I don't know who that guy is that's worth putting out there. I wish there was a third-round pick tackle that you're like, well, we'll try him there.
Yes, correct. It's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at on this Monday after 2 frustrating losses where I think in particular the defense has looked like it has.
Brutal.
Hey, if you would have told us that, what was it? Was it 26 against Cleveland, I believe, right? Was it 26-9 or 23-9 was the final score against Cleveland?
Yeah.
But regardless, out of that bye week, you were going to score 23 or 26 against Cleveland. You were going to score 31 against Cincinnati. You were going to score 25 against the Packers.
We used to make fun of the Bengals last year for having to play this way. It's starting to feel like the 2024 Bengals.
Where you got to score at least 30-some points.
Yeah, and you still lose half of them. And you go 9-8 or whatever,
And Matt, you could have sold me if we're laying out all the different possibilities that could happen to this team before Halloween, right? The first 7 games of the season. You could have sold me on this defense isn't as great as we all were hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's got some older pieces. You get some injuries, whatever. This defense isn't going to be elite. It's not going to be a top 3, top 5 unit in the NFL.
We could have been sold that ship sailed. That we thought this was going to be a top defense. Okay, fine.
But not to this extent.
But you had a tough time selling me it's going to be a bottom, whatever, handful.
Even half of the league. Forget,
right.
bottom 10, bottom 12, whatever.
Yeah, and it's trending towards one of the worst all of a sudden.
It is.
Right.
And again, it's one of those things where you don't need an eye test. You don't, the data now backs that up. And the points that they've surrendered, the yards that they've surrendered, lack of sacks, lack of splash over the last couple weeks. And it's a big concern. It's
huge.
It's a massive concern. Listen, there is a lot of opportunity in front of this team still. We could be singing. We could be coming back from
still in first place.
We could be coming.
2 of their losses are NFC teams. There's some math stuff that works.
We could be coming back from San Diego at what would it be 6-3 if the Steelers win their next 2 games, feeling much different. Did I say San Diego? I meant LA.
I
Sorry,
slide.
the Chargers.
I knew what you're talking about.
I was at the stadium till 3 a.m. last night. I'm on a few hours of sleep. That'll happen a few more times when we're coming back from LA on a red eye. But right now, I think there's no running from it. There's no hiding from it. It might have been easy on that Friday morning, like you said. You know what? Sometimes Barry Bonds is just going to hit some home run. Barry Bonds is going to go 4 for 5 with a couple doubles and a couple home runs, and he just had a day.
Gretzky had 6 points.
Shohei Ohtani's going to strike you out 12 times. It's just going to happen, right? But you might have been able to say that Friday after that Cincinnati game. Again, now when it starts to become a trend, when it starts to become a habit, when it starts to become a pattern, you can't hide from it. You got to. Sometimes the only way to get through it, Matt, is to go through it.
Yeah.
And I hope they're going through it this week.
And they have the right people to come out on the other end better for it when it all matters. I mean, yes, this is still a loss at the end of October. There's a lot of football left. I mean, you can string 5 wins together. Any team could. The Bears just came off a winning streak. I mean, anyone can do it, but it doesn't look real profitable right now. Last thing, and completion. What is it? The completion percentage for Love was obviously extremely high. I mean, he completed 20 in a row.
29 of 37.
But there's an advanced number, and I don't want to get too nerdy, but they call it adjusted completion percentage.
Okay.
So if you spike the ball, it doesn't come against you. If you throw one away on purpose, if a ball gets batted at the line of scrimmage, they don't blame the quarterback for that. And these are NFL.com stats. These are from, the league. If you look at his adjusted completion percentage in this game, it's 91%. So the balls he tried to complete, like you don't try to complete a spike or whatever.
Right.
He completed like 9 out of 10. Halloween candy, dude.
It's too easy.
Yeah. You can't just hand him out.
Jordan Love's a good quarterback.
He's a real good quarterback. And he played great.
It's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
It's not prime Peyton Manning.
Right. Flacco was hot too, and right. I mean, the passing defense numbers over the past 2 games, and they're easy throws. They're all 2.4 seconds, get it out, and they're not, man, Mahomes is driving the ball on this deep out and putting it in a spot this big. They're open dudes.
Yeah. And again, it's one game, it happens.
Yeah.
Everybody has bad days. Everybody has good days. Everybody has bad days. They're humans. But
Thursday on the road, right.
Starting to become a trend and an alarming one at that. We're going to talk about all these things and more with our buddy Rob King, the voice of your Pittsburgh Steelers, when we return. We have got plenty to get to today as we continue to react to the Steelers falling for the second straight week, 25-35 to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson will talk to Rob King on the other side. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here as we roll along, reacting to Sunday Night Football, a disappointing loss for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Joining us now to discuss, it is the voice of your Pittsburgh Steelers, Rob King. You, of course, hear him every morning in the locker room and on the calls with Max Starks and Missy Matthews throughout the season. Kinger, frustrating one, disappointing one, wild one there at Acrisure Stadium last night. I think a whole bunch of different ways to go. Matt and I got into some of that in the open here, and we'll kind of continue to dissect this thing as we roll along. But hasn't even been 24 hours yet. It's been like 10 hours since that game ended, 12 hours, something like that. I don't know. My math is off. But what's your biggest takeaway as we sit here on a Monday afternoon?
Yeah, it's funny because I was on DVD this morning too, and then on earlier with Matt for the program we taped that's going to run later tonight, the point after. I'm with Max in the locker room, and I'd forgotten that the Steelers really played an excellent first half of football and actually had a lead going into the fourth quarter, although the tide was turning against them even when they had that lead going into the fourth quarter. You want to try to accentuate some positives. I don't know if that's really possible. I do think that, the offense did some good things. They were able to run the football against a top run defense, the second best run defense in the league. They had opportunities, but look, man, this is a league that's about winning. And the Steelers have now lost 2 in a row, and they've surrendered a ton of points. And they just have not looked defensively anything like we expected the Steelers to look defensively, or certainly I expected them to look this year. And you look up now, they've played 7 games, and in 4 of them, they've given up 30 or more points.
Yeah, and the wrong team is coming to town in terms of producing 30 points, by the way. But we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Rob, that show you mentioned that we do with Mike Pursuta, Mike had, I thought, a really astute observation that if you had to look at one point where the tides turned, it was Love just kind of chucking up a arm punt, almost gets sacked. That could have been a very positive play for the defense. Tucker Kraft, who we warned people last week, is a fantastic young player, rips the ball down, is a man among boys, takes it down the field for a big gain, and literally, insult to injury, Elliott gets hurt on that play, and everyone's heads are hanging,
Yeah, I think they're, yes, and we thought that way last night as well, calling the game. But I will say this too, and I know the Packers are a very good team. They're one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Have to find a way to stem the tide. And the Steelers did come back, and they marched down and they kicked a field goal. But the Packers kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And the Steelers they didn't have enough answers. Penalties, sacks, a fumble. Mm-hmm. When you still had one last gasp to try to win the game or get back in the game late in the game, the Gainwell fumble. You've got to find a way. Injuries, right? Well, other teams have injuries too. Go back to the Bengals in week 2. They lose Joe Burrow, and they come from behind to win the game. Joe Burrow is basically that team. They've invested all that money in Burrow, and yes, of course, the receivers. I understand that, but that's what they're built to do. And then Chase Browning comes in and wins the game. So no one feels sorry for you that you have injuries. And look, I think Deshaun Elliott is a significant injury. I think the world of him as a player. I think his importance level to the Steelers defense It's hard to overstate how important he is. There are just, Siamalu, not only is he hurt, but now it takes a jumbo package out of play. Aquale, obviously a guy that has had a good year and has been a very good rotational player for the Steelers. But you've got to find a way to stem the tide. You've got to find a way to fight back, and that's what happens in heavyweight battles with good teams. And the Steelers just weren't able to find a way after that Kraft play. There have been a couple of things of adversity, right? The offside play that wasn't the offside play where Aaron Rodgers figured he could take a shot downfield, and mystifyingly no flag was thrown. And it's not like the Steelers showed no fight. They just didn't have enough in them to stem the tide through injuries and through momentum and other things to come back and win the game.
And Rob, on that show, this is an unforgiving league, and I made the joke when we were having that conversation. It's like Goodfellas. I mean, oh, you got hit by lightning? Pay me.
Right.
Yeah, nobody cares, and
nobody cares.
And maybe you overcome those obstacles, Siamalu, et cetera, against the Browns, but you're not against the top tier teams.
That's right. And the Steelers aren't the only team getting bad breaks. They aren't the only team getting injuries. And, you understand the fact that those are factors, right? But, factors can't be excuses. And if you're a fan saying, well, if we got this call or that call, well, that's just not the way it works. You've just got to find a way. And the Steelers, in the last 2 weeks just didn't find a way. Last week they had an opportunity early on to extend the lead against Cincinnati, didn't do it. This week they had opportunities, even with a halftime lead, to extend the lead against Green Bay, have a bigger halftime lead, and they didn't do it. Okay, that's one factor for sure. And those aren't small factors. But then you've also got to find a way to come back and come up with a defensive stop. Last week, the Steelers, for as much as they felt like they maybe really could have handled the Bengals and blown them out early, they didn't. But they still had a chance to steal the win late. I would have felt like, hey, you walk out of Paycor Stadium with a win, you stole one. You needed to stop defensively at the end of the game. You didn't get it. So complimentary football, turnover battles, lack of splash plays, lack of finding a way to stem the tide. All these things have been part of what have caused the Steelers to lose the last two games.
Yeah, Kinger, and that's you touched on something there that I think is important, and it's a lot of people are going to be screaming and hooting, hollering, and yelling about the defense today. And I get it. I'm not saying those people are wrong. That's where the money's spent. That's where most of the all-pros and the stars of this offense are. And that's just a Pittsburgh Steelers thing. It's our birthright to have a good defense in this town and has been since the 70s, right? But they have gotten away for years now with settling for threes off the golden toe of Chris Boswell. And Matt says this best. He's said it a few times since training camp. It's great that Chris Boswell is reliable and as amazing as he is.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. But I don't want him to be team MVP. They have so many times throughout the years gotten away with winning games off of good defense and the golden toe against Chris Boswell. They won the season opener in Atlanta a couple years ago. 18 points from Boswell was enough to get it done. I think that game in Denver last year, they scored one touchdown, but then it was Boswell the rest of the way. Heck, guys, they won a playoff game in Kansas City one year just off of Chris Boswell's toe without scoring a touchdown. But you kind of touched on it there, Kinger. It's 16-7 at the half. And yeah, you're feeling good at that point. You're up more than one possession, but it should have been 20-7. It should have been 24-7. And I realize these aren't 27-yard field goals that Chris Boswell was hitting. They were from 48. They were from 50. They were from 56. When you get into plus territory, when you get close to the red zone or into the red zone, they have got to find ways to turn threes into sevens more often. They've gotten away with it for so many years, but I just don't think they can anymore.
Well, I think, there's what did John F. Kennedy say? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Well, for years, it's been, the only thing you have to ask for is your defense, right? So it's a close game, and you've got, maybe some quarterback play that isn't up to snuff, or you don't think it's up to snuff post Ben Roethlisberger. Maybe you could even say post Ben surgery. I don't know how you want to parse it up, but the comfort level was Mike Tomlin, who, remember, early on was an aggressive coach. Like he had Ben and he had AB and he had Le'Veon Bell and he was going for two and being aggressive. And, he's had faith in this defense, and it's a highly paid defense, and he had faith in the defense coming into the season. He probably still has faith in the defense, right? That is by definition what faith is, believing in something that you haven't seen, right? And so, maybe that isn't anymore. Maybe it's not ask what your defense can do for you, but what you can do for your defense. Maybe they do need to be more aggressive in going for things. Maybe it isn't punt it away and let our defense hang on to this win. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I do know that the answer is not what we've seen the last two games. The offense has been good, but there's been moments. The defense has not really been good, and there's been moments where they could have maybe been helped out by the offense. So I don't know. I don't know, and I'm sure they're searching for answers right now. What do we do to get back in the win column? Because the schedule is not going to get any easier. You're still in first place, one victory, and we're singing a different tune. One win over the Colts, and we're singing a different tune. But you got to find a way to beat the Colts, and you got to find a way to play better football in order to beat the Colts.
Going to be an interesting 6 or so days here leading up to that 1 o'clock kickoff at Acrisure Stadium next weekend against Indianapolis. The voice of your Pittsburgh Steelers, kind enough to lend us some time here on a Monday. Kinger, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
There he is. There he goes. Some good stuff from him, Matt. Want to talk about some of that when we return on the other side, just more kind of downloading all of our thoughts from last night's 35-25 defeat to the Green Bay Packers. We'll do that to close down the first hour of the show when we return. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here on a Monday as we roll along and recap the Steelers' frustrating loss to the Green Bay Packers at home on Sunday Night Football. It was a big one, man. That place was jumping. That place was juiced. Matt, I typically get there about 4.5 hours before kickoff, which, as you can imagine, for 1 o'clock games, I'm getting there at 8:30 in the morning.
I'm sure things are pretty quiet.
Things are pretty calm.
Yeah.
4:30 games, I'm getting there at, 11:30, noonish. A little bit more than a 1 o'clock game, but it's still, you've got the diehards who have been there and set up.
Yeah.
But
I'm
then
sure there's some
kind of
tailgaters that are going pretty strong at that
The second
point.
wave haven't rolled in yet.
Parking lots aren't full to the brim at that point.
Yesterday, I got down there at 3 o'clock. It was backed up everywhere already.
Really?
Tailgates going crazy, cars everywhere, sidewalks were lined with people. This was a game that had a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention, a lot of storylines, and man, when you win games like that, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Steelers in Dublin. You lose games like that, it stinks even more, I think, in kind of the 48 hours-ish aftermath.
Yeah, and I'll get this out of my system, but a little more green in the stands than I would have liked.
I was waiting for how long that was going to come up.
I wasn't there,
I didn't know if Rob King was going to say something about that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you on that.
It makes me uncomfortable.
I saw a bunch of green outside of the stadium.
And
that's one thing, because sometimes you're like, hey, maybe they just came to town,
Right.
But yeah, it was up there with, I remember the home opener against San Francisco a few years ago. There was a lot of red in that stadium, and there's a lot of Niners fans in Youngstown, Ohio, and Northeast Ohio because of the DeBartolo family connection, for those who aren't familiar with that. But this might have been to another level. And hey, people that have season tickets,
and hey, it's a night game and people leave in the fourth quarter. You got to go to work.
You're allowed to do what you want with your tickets.
Right.
It's the weather's a little chilly. It's a late game, but I would also say that's part of having tickets is supporting the team.
A little bit of responsibility, right?
in those moments. I say, as a guy who drove down to Morgantown
Chargers,
Saturday night to watch a 2-5 team in the cold as well too. And so that
we're not the Falcons, we're not the Panthers, we're not the Chargers.
That was a little frustrating. Yeah. I realized for a lot of Packers fans, this was like a get to say goodbye to Aaron Rodgers, our hero type game.
Yeah.
You
could see why they'd be super anxious to come Spend the weekend in Pittsburgh. It's like a southern getaway from them too.
If Ben would have
going to
played,
the beach.
If Ben would have played his last season in the league for
The Packers,
the Detroit Lions,
or
the
whoever.
Packers,
Yeah.
and the Steelers played there, there'd be a bazillion Steelers fans there.
Sunday night, yeah, right.
So I get it from that perspective.
Yeah, part of it's respect for the Packers fans.
Totally.
When I say
and
that.
just again, like I said, I'm sure a lot of Green Bay fans were like, so probably my last chance to see Aaron Rodgers playing against my team. You know, the guy that I loved for 18 years. I'm going to pay whatever it takes for tickets.
I hear Pittsburgh's a cool town. Let's go.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Great place to spend a fall weekend in October. You know, but yeah, that was something that
didn't love. It was a little uncomfortable.
Didn't love to see it.
And
I don't
unusual
want to dime anybody out here. All right, but didn't love to see it. Matt, I tell you what, credit where credit is due in certain instances as well. Some of it is frustrating and poor performance on the Steelers' end.
Yeah.
Other part of it is as you and I like to do too. I think we're pretty good at this. The other teams have millionaires and all pros. And
it's a crime if you don't mention the other team. Come on.
Especially in this league.
Right.
Even the pushover, the Jets went and won a game on Sunday.
Right.
I mean,
right. Everybody's good.
Everybody's good. The Packers certainly have good players. And, man, you called it with Tucker Kraft. You've been, to be fair, it wasn't just this past week that you called it. You've been singing his praises since training camp when we do positional rankings and fantasy football conversation and all that stuff. It was National Tight Ends Day yesterday.
Yes, it was.
And boy, did
he was the best of the group.
He was the best. He was the best tight end in the NFL week 9 or whatever it was.
100% was. So, and people know I do a lot of fantasy, and I'm in a bunch of fantasy leagues, et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't want to pay up for the Bowers of the world, et cetera. So the two tight ends that I invested heavily in and told people to are Kraft and the guy coming to town this week, Warren.
Oh, no.
Who's also on fire. And we'll get into him and down the road, of course. But Kraft is really, really impressive. And I just wanted to pull this up. He had 131 yards after the catch.
And that was something you talked about.
Yeah.
This guy's a madman after the catch.
And that's no fluke at all. He is fast. He is aggressive. He accelerates. He's hard to bring down. He does not enjoy being tackled, and he lets you know it. That's the third most of any position. Or no, it's third best out of tight ends since the next-gen era, which is 2016. I mean, it's huge. And 2.8 yards per route run in that game. Every time he ran a route, he basically got 3 yards. 2 is really good for a wide receiver. 2.8 for a tight end? Whoa. But you don't need numbers to say how good he was in this game.
No, that's one of those, just the eye test. I mean, the eye test showed it.
Didn't listen to us or is new to the show or whatever and is like, who's this Kraft guy? He seems all right. Well, you know now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do. And I'm sure a lot of people, as they listen to this, maybe even some of you will jump into our Twitter mentions screaming about that missed OPI on that one long game that he had.
Yeah.
I certainly think it could have been called offensive pass interference.
Agreed.
Without a doubt.
This was not the greatest officiated game, and it hurt the Steelers more than the Packers, but that's not why they lost. Just getting that off my chest.
I agree.
Yeah.
They missed a terrible... And again, this is one of those, all these things are easy to say in hindsight, but this plays along with me to the settling for threes too often in the first half conversation.
Yeah.
First possession of the second half, that missed false start where Micah Parsons, they had 2 guys offsides. Not Micah Parsons, but whoever the other one was. I'm drawing a blank right now.
I don't remember either.
He's on Zach Frazier's shoulder when he snaps the ball.
Right,
I mean, it's not even close. Like, he's on Zach's shoulder when he snaps that ball. What if that would have given you a first down? You'd be close to midfield. It's 16-7 at that point. You know, what if even if you just add another field goal, it becomes 19-7. Like, you pick up one more first down or 2, and you add another field goal.
This isn't whining about the ref's time because
exactly
that's not something
right.
I do very often on Mondays anyway.
It's not something I ever like to do either because it just feels like sour grapes. And I think 99.9% of the time it's not the reason you lost or won.
And the Steelers were not the better team last night. They didn't deserve to win. This isn't that big. But those 2 plays to me are important to at least note because mentioned before, and I stole it from Mike Pursuta, that I think that Kraft arm punt, Elliott gets injured, what was the biggest play of the game and a major turning point. And if a flag comes out and it goes backwards, let's just see where the chips fall.
You still lose to Sean Elliott, but
right. I mean, at least
maybe they punt a play or two later.
Yeah, and that wasn't a great play by Love. I mean, 18 of his 20 completions were boom, boom, boom. He did great quarterbacking, but that one was, I'm in huge trouble here. I'm just going to chuck it up and hope my guy can make some play. And
yes.
He did because his guy's really good.
Yes.
But the other thing about the offsides thing, though, which was why I think Rodgers is losing his mind about it, because he knew he was right. Like, this guy's in the backfield when
What if he throws an interception there?
That's the thing. There's no way he even attempts that pass. He thought he had a free play.
Thought he had a free play.
Right. So I'm going to drive it in the tightest window I possibly can.
Throw it down the field to Roman Wilson. Why not?
And no one's done it better in the years than that guy. So it was two-pronged. Like, I would not have done what I did, and you missed the call,
That was a kind of momentum zapping type moment, as was the Tucker the Tucker Kraft non-call.
Yeah.
As well too, but one non-call doesn't make up for 7 receptions, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's pretty awesome.
Average of 20.4 yards per reception, and that was just Christian Watson. 4 for 85.
It's a nice boost to bring him back too.
Average of 21.3.
You're real happy with your weapons right now if you're the Packers.
Romeo Doubs, 14.7 average. You're right.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone was singing that tune coming into the game. Plenty of people were talking about Tucker Kraft, but no one was really talking about Watson or Dobbs like that. Like, these guys are fine NFL wide receivers.
You made it too easy on them, too.
You made it way too easy on them.
No doubt. I mean, so this is kind of a fantasy thing, but I mean, for a couple of years now, who's the number one in Green Bay? We need somebody to be the number one. Who's the difference maker? Well, the number one's the tight end.
Yes.
And they know it now, and the whole world knows it now. And this doesn't matter anymore, but I think Jaden Reed's supposed to come back next week. You got Watson this week. Dobbs really stepped up while those guys were gone and isn't a 1, but he was better than he has been in his career, so he leveled up a little bit. And you got a first-round pick in Golden sitting there. So it's like, you're feeling pretty good if you're the Packers right now in the passing game. I'm not saying they're going to – and that just isn't Steeler related. By no means am I like, they'll do this every week to every team they play. No, they won't, because they made it too easy.
Yes, they did.
And don't make it too easy against really good teams.
And I tell you what, they've got a really good team coming to town here again in 6 days. So they better.
It might be the best offense in the league.
Which, I'm laughing because it sounds funny to say out loud.
Right.
That an offense led by Daniel Jones with. Going into this season, Matt, if you would have asked the average football fan across the league, maybe you take the Colts division out of it because those guys see them more often. But okay, go ahead. Name me as many Colts on the offensive side of the football as you can. Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
Maybe Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
You would have gotten an average of probably 1.5 names.
People started to drive pretty quick.
From the casual football fan.
They're not going to tell you about Josh Downs and,
correct, Alec Pierce and these guys. Right. Yeah, but that's... I tell you what, it's going to be a Captain Obvious here. I'm really, really digging in. It's going to be a tough meeting today for the Pittsburgh Steelers and a tough film session, particularly for the guys on that defense.
Hang in with me for 1 second.
But you better figure it out here quick.
We don't preview games on Mondays.
We do not.
But Monday mornings, I start
accumulating. We've got like 10 more hours of radio before we...
Right, exactly. Yeah, but Monday mornings, I start really digging into the opponent, much like the coaching staffs do around the league. And I got about a 10-sentence paragraph here on Jonathan Taylor that you okay with me reading it?
Sure.
Because
is it going to make me feel bad?
Really, really terrible. It's going to make you feel Freddy Krueger Halloween nightmares.
You're really crushing it.
I'm really going with the Halloween theme today.
You're the Kramer and Seinfeld, here's to feeling good all the time.
Yeah.
You've got me like, here's to feeling bad all the time.
Well, it's Halloween week, People like scary movies. I mean, this is Michael Myers stuff here, and he's coming to town, dude.
Here we go. Pittsburgh Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm just going to read for a minute, and everyone's going to go, oh, no. And you're going to feel terrible for a while. So, such is life. So Jonathan Taylor rushed for 153 yards and 3 total touchdowns on just 12 carries last week.
Oh, no.
That's pretty good. He recorded a career high 8.4 yards after first contact.
Oh, no.
Pretty good. That was his 4th 100-yard rushing day of the season to go along with 14 total touchdowns.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, for real?
That's where he's at right now.
I've got him on one of my big money fantasy teams, and I didn't even realize it's 14.
14. Over his past 3 games, he's rushed for 370 yards and is averaging 7.6 yards per carry.
Oh, no.
Pretty good. He's the 5th player since the year 2000 with at least 3 scrimmage touchdowns in 4 games of a season. and we're not even halfway through the year. And this is the 6th player in NFL history with at least 70 scrimmage touchdowns in his first 75 games. I mean, we're talking like Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson stuff. He has 4 3-touchdown games this season. 4. The rest of the league has 8 combined.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he scored 10 touchdowns over his past 4 games.
Why is he not in MVP conversations?
He's Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this.
Because it's a quarterback
Yes.
award. That's the answer.
And a couple more things here. He has 5 more touchdowns than anyone else in the NFL right now. 5 more.
Good Lord.
He's responsible for 4% of all the rushing yardage in the entire league by running backs. 31% of his touches are resulting in first downs or touchdowns. Best in the league. He's also hit 20 miles per hour on 6 occasions this year, most in the league. He's having one of the best running years, and he's not a bad receiver, in NFL history.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
Matt,
stop Jacobs. That's the good news.
You know my favorite United States Olympian ever? Apollo Oh No. Do you remember him? He was a figure skater.
I know the name, actually.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's a scary Halloween week, and you better get it right. Michael Myers is coming to town.
You better get it right because the Colts are coming and they're carrying a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Hour in the books. Another hour to go. I've got a couple. You know what? I've got a question for you to start hour number 2, Matt. Okay, we'll get into that. We've gotten about 500,000 tweets as well too. Maybe we'll pick into some of those. We also do need to do an around the league segment in hour number 2 to talk.
A lot of blowouts.
A lot of things happening in the NFL.
Been nice to see the Ravens
Sunday.
lose.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Although, hey, the Bengals did drop one as well too, which doesn't
did a favor.
Doesn't hurt the Steelers at all. We'll get into all that and more in hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Us too. Hour number 2 here of The Drive.
We get cheerier throughout the week after a loss, though. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll don't worry. We'll start letting people merge in traffic again tomorrow. We will be starting to fill up on Halloween candy too as the week goes along. I feel like that always helps. But it was a bit of a Rocky Picture horror show for the Steelers last night at Acrisure Stadium. Hour number 2 here, breaking down, dissecting the Steelers' second straight defeat. This one 35-25 to Green Bay. And Matt, I got a simple question for you. This is a 30,000-foot view question. This is a thing that Moats and I used to do sometimes in times like this. We would call it the CCWP meter, okay? And very simply, calm, concerned, worried, or panicked. That's the CCWP meter, okay? You calm? Are you concerned? Are you worried? Are you panicked? Where are you with this Pittsburgh Steelers team right now?
It's not panic time yet.
It's not panic time.
No, but it's worried time.
I think so. I might be somewhere between concerned and worried. In fact, I might even be on the over the fence and on that worried side of the yard.
And my logic behind worried is 90% of it's the defense. You know, like down by down, defensive play all year has been way, way below the line. You know, splash reliant.
When you are and the biggest thing with that is, like, let's not kid ourselves. We know this is a organization, this is a team, this is a franchise, this is a coaching staff, this is a management group, an entire city and a fan base. It's predicated on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It is.
And I don't even care about the investments and the salaries on it. That stuff doesn't matter on game day.
It doesn't.
I'm that's off-season stuff.
Because the reason why that doesn't matter to me is because whenever the Steelers defense gives up 35 points like they did this week and 33 on last Thursday to Cincinnati, everyone brings that up. $180 million, right?
Right.
Second high. Everyone says highest paid. It's actually the second highest paid defense in the NFL. But
let's not let details get in the way of a good story.
Let's not let details get in the way of a good story. If the Steelers' defense was locked down, if they were the best in the league or one of the best 2 or 3 in the league and they were giving up 19 points a game, I don't think everyone would be screaming, $180 million, look what it's buying you. It's only the negative. Right? We only do that when it's the negative.
Right.
But that, to me, I think you you have to be worried in that regard. It would be one thing if you were the Buffalo Bills and had Josh Allen, and you know what, we're gonna get shot, but we're gonna get more shots off than Like, this is a team that, to get to where they want to go, to be who they want to be, the defense doesn't have to be. Everyone's making the historically great jokes again in the last 24 hours as well too. They don't need to be a historically great defense for this team to get where they're trying to go, but they can't be what they've been through these first 7 games, through these first 8 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm officially worried about the defense.
Yes.
On that meter you're talking about. I mean, I'm worried.
Relatively calm with the offense, honestly.
Yes, except the way that the offense is wired, can it make up for the bad defense? You know what I mean? Like, I trust Rodgers can. I mean, like you mentioned, well, if you have Josh Allen, you get,
What
of course.
What about 2? We haven't discussed this. 3 carries in the second half for the Steelers, right?
I have a problem with that, too. And I didn't even feel
maybe
it at
we
the
buried
time.
the lead of not bringing that up until this point. But
right, because 10 minutes of time possession in the second half.
That's how you can kind of insulate your defense a little bit.
Yes.
You can run the ball and again, not get out-snapped every game, not lose the time of possession 6 out of 7 games.
You were winning time possession very nicely going in the half. You were very much winning the running differential. You were the much better running team, the much better running defense, and they kicked to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got the ball to start the half.
Come on running. Yeah, I mean, it's working. Make your defense life a little easier. So the second half, only having like 10 minutes of time possession, was a two-pronged sword, without a doubt. But they were on completions, too. I mean, the clock's just running with after the catch, completions, can't get off the field, hand out Halloween candy, But there's a little to be blamed with that, too. But my reason for team worry is, okay, we had the Tomlin conversation. If I have to go for it more on fourth, less field goals, that's not really how this offense is built. And the conversation we had with Rob and I did with Mike that's going to air tonight was, okay, do you, and this is more down the road stuff, but do you say I'm more apt to go get that wide receiver and try to score every week?
We've got a lot of tweets about, like, what do we do ahead of the trade deadline? Receiver, safety, both?
Or I keep investing in safeties. Do I sell the farm? I don't think that's the answer.
I don't think that's the answer.
And that won't be the case either way. But it's like, okay, we're at a crossroads. And if you're at a crossroads, I think being worried is legit and healthy.
It is. And I think everybody in that building would tell you that's part of what you do in the National Football League.
Yeah. This happens every year to some regard. Right.
And I know, and I'm not drawing this as a parallel for the Steelers right now. But, like, you have to, in this profession, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I know I've told you this story before.
Experience kicks in.
Brought this up on air. Like, Moats and I would laugh all the time at the run that this Chiefs have been on in the last 7 years, right? They go to that first year with Mahomes, his second year when he was really the guy, right? Okay. Alex Smith is gone. It's Patrick Mahomes. They go to the AFC Championship game, host it against Brady, right? That was Brady's last Patriots Super Bowl year.
Run, yeah.
And they lose in overtime to Tom Brady and the Patriots. It's like, okay.
Wow, we can hang with the biggest of dogs. Right?
First year with Mahomes as a starter, we've got this Tyreek Hill guy and this Kareem Hunt guy, and our defense is getting there. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah.
We're gonna be fine.
And looking back on history, that was the beginning of the changing of the guard in the AFC.
Exactly right. Exactly right. The next year, going into Thanksgiving, they were like 7-4, 7-5. And there were articles all throughout Kansas City. It's time to move on from Andy Reid. This is the same thing we've been getting, all of this and that.
Reid's been one of the most criticized head coaches in NFL history.
And then they
go back to some Philadelphia clippings. This guy will never win the big one.
2.5 months later, guess what he did? He won the big one against San Francisco, and he got his first Super Bowl, and that kick started.
And history's been in their favor ever since.
Now people would argue he's maybe the best coach in NFL history. Right, I mean, it is amazing how quick that can happen. And I'm not saying the Steelers are about to go on a 6 or 7 year run like that, but that's how quickly narratives can shift in this league.
There's been a couple with the Eagles over the last couple of years.
There's been a couple with the Eagles.
This team's miserable
over the last couple years. And so man, you are far from a finished product here, as it's October 27th, not even Halloween yet, as we're getting close.
And real quick, I think the Steelers still have very good players on defense. Maybe some of them aren't as good as I thought they were in training camp, But I don't think that's like they don't have any good. They got nothing. It's not like the Titans defense. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You know, it's not like this is going to be the worst and should be because they don't have anyone that's any good.
If you are waking up today as the biggest pessimist in Steeler Nation, sell the farm, fire everybody.
Right. It's a disaster.
Focus on the future. Be bad rest of this year, next year, whatever. Get high draft picks, all that stuff. Even if you're somebody who would be like on that side of pessimism, I don't know, Matt. I don't think it's never. Here's what I'm trying to say. It's never as bad as you think it is when things are crappy. It's never as good as you think it is when things are great.
No.
And
I think even those back-to-back good defensive performances that started in Dublin probably weren't quite as good as we thought either. Because still down to down, they weren't great.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a great example as well too. But even if you are someone who's on the complete pessimism, it's over, they're finished, they're old, blow this thing up side of things. You can sell me on, okay, TJ's not as dominant as he was a couple years ago. Jalen Ramsey's not as dominant as he was a couple years ago. They're still great football players.
Right. That doesn't mean they went from defensive player of the year to bad.
And they didn't go from all pros to suck.
To right. Should be unemployed.
Exactly
right.
There is a middle ground there, and I'm still convinced there's a middle ground for this defense. Again, they might not be one of the best 3 units in the league like we all hoped and expected when we left Latrobe in August. But they're not this either. They're not that they can't be the team that's giving up 30 points like it's Halloween candy.
Yeah. No, I mean that's totally unacceptable. But it's not like they have all replacement level guys out there either. I mean, to me, that gives you some hope. I mean, it's a crossroads.
It's a crossroads.
It's a crossroads.
Man. And you could go one of two directions. And listen, it does not get easier. You've got the Colts who are setting the world on fire coming to town. Yet. And then you have to go across the country, primetime game against the Chargers team that, again, maybe isn't what we thought they were going to be a couple months ago, but is pretty good as well, too. And
great quarterback.
Joe Walt's going to be back. The offensive line improving. They're well coached. Like they've got an identity there under Harbaugh. It's a tough stretch. It absolutely is. The Bears look much more daunting than they do right now. Heck, the Miami Dolphins are even winning games.
Yeah,
Matt.
And frankly, I don't even care about what's on the schedule.
But you're right with that. You have to get I don't want to look at my neighbor's landscaping and go, man, they've got some great mulch and great grass, and who planted those flowers? You gotta focus on your own yard at this point.
Tend your own garden. And again, I don't even care who's on the upcoming schedule as much as is it just being shown that you can't hang with the big dogs. You know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe you do get into the playoffs, and we've seen that story too many times where, that's a heck of a lot better than being the Browns. I'll fight that to no end. I am not a blow the thing up and be terrible for 10 years guy. I would much rather be in it and see where the chips fall. But these last 2 games just shown a defense that isn't playoff, let alone championship caliber. Well, that worries me, and thus the W. And the exercise we just did,
Yes.
It's worrisome, right?
It's worrisome. And I think, too, of all the things that we could have roadblocks if we were laying out potential downfalls for this team in August, again, I think someone would have said the defense isn't as good as we think they are. Cam is older, TJ's older, Jalen Ramsey's older, all these things, but it can't be this.
It can't be this bad, right?
It can't be this bad.
You got to challenge completions. Yeah, right.
You have got to make it more difficult on quarterbacks. You've got to make it more difficult on receivers and tight ends. And that's the task at hand here now as they navigate what is not going to be a fun week for anybody involved down there on the south side.
No, nor should it be. I mean, no one says it's supposed to be rainbows and unicorns. Right. And every team has these moments.
100%.
Right.
Every coach has these moments.
Right.
Again, like I told you, you're in this league. Like, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It is never going to be sunshine and rainbows, and
it's very unforgiving, and it's very, very competitive, and it's very, very high end. Right. And that's why we all watch and love it.
And the Packers are 5-1-1, a pretty good team.
They're really good
in their own right.
They really are.
Absolutely. But you know what? You've got to rise up. You got to meet that challenge. And it certainly starts here in the next couple days, getting that tape digested and getting the corrections made. Matt, let's take a break here. Come back on the other side. You want to go around the league a little bit, talk about some of these other NFL games from Sunday. We got some of your tweets that we'll close down with as well, too. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. A busy week 8 across the National Football League. A intriguing one tonight on Monday Night Football. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, Matt, what do you say we kind of do what we always do here on a Monday, run through the gauntlet of other NFL games not involving our Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, and I'll say it's one of the least interesting Mondays from that regard, where bad teams lost, good teams won, very convincingly at times, and I hate to say it, but I think you got to lump the Packers and Steelers in there too. I mean, Green Bay made a statement.
Matt, I don't want to, pat you on the back too much, but you called it with Tucker Kraft.
Ooh.
You also did say there's a chance we come in here on Monday and we're talking about the Steelers. I don't remember if you used the word blowout specifically, but a game that the Steelers, a game that the Steelers lost comfortably might have been the
I think we said something like we might come in here and be like, uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I think it's safe to say we're saying uh-oh.
And you know what? Not to pat ourselves, now I'm pat myself on the back. I think we did pretty well with predicting a lot of these other games around the league, except Dolphins-Falcons. But who saw that one? 34 to 10 to Miami. In Atlanta.
They had no one to throw to. Cousins didn't even play bad. Their tackling was terrible. Their defense was terrible. I'm talking about Atlanta here. Mm-hmm. And London not playing was really big for them.
They miss him big time, yeah.
Miami's easy to make fun of and all that, but their offense, when it starts humming, especially in good weather, is legit.
They've got weapons. They can run the ball.
And, he's a good offensive mind, and Tua played his best game.
Yes, he did.
They're still a little dangerous. Like that, they're a perfect example of on any given Sunday, maybe they could knock off a big dog.
The Merrill Hodge. Never underestimate an embarrassed professional.
And that's the Dolphins.
You're absolutely right. Jets-Bengals. Wow. For the first time in his career, Justin Fields. He did it, man.
Oh, he did it, yeah.
He finally did it. You could put that stat to bed. His defense gave up more than 20 points.
Still got the W.
And he got the W 39-38 in a crazy one. Breece Hall ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for a touchdown. A rough loss for the Bengals. And, hey, you win that one, you're 4-4. You're a half game behind the Steelers with a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Now you drop that one at home as well, too, and you're back to 3-5 for Cincinnati.
Yeah, and good for Justin. I mean, he's easy to root for. I don't know if he's a long-term answer, but they're going into their bye, and the head coach still hasn't committed to him, but I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, at this stage. And, okay, fine. But the Bengals now are at another crossroads. Is it Hendrickson got hurt in that game too? Is it trade guys? Does it go all in? And I lean towards them being out of it. I thought if they beat the Steelers, beat the Jets, like, oh, no, they're dangerous again. But that might have been close to the final nail.
They've got the Bears at home on Sunday.
Probably a dog in that game, don't you think? I don't know. I would have thought that Bears weren't
didn't play
either,
great
right?
this past week either. Yeah, that's
maybe that's
rough
what it comes down to. Win or loss there is
rough one for Cincinnati for sure. And hey, you know what? Good for the Jets organization on a rough day with the sad, tragic news of Nick Mangold, just 41 years old.
I know. I watched him in high school. We offered him a scholarship. I mean,
one of those
age guys. Yeah,
I think he was one of those guys that everyone didn't matter who you rooted for across the NFL. You knew who that guy was. You respected that guy in his game. Just 41 years old, way too young. So our thoughts obviously with everyone in his family and his friends. But hopefully the Jets win brought some type of smile to their face yesterday. Patriots took care of business, Matt, too. Maybe this was the one other area where we were off. We thought that this would be Cleveland would find a way to hang around.
Yeah.
But your boy Drake May, my goodness, continues to look
he's
the part.
Really good.
32-13. The Patriots, 5 wins in a row on the bounce. Don't look now, but with a very favorable schedule the rest of the way too. The Patriots are 6-2.
I think they're going to the playoffs.
They might win that division.
They might win the division. I mean, you already got 6 wins in the bank, and again, any given Sunday, all that stuff. But the teams lined up, especially with Cleveland, this past week. I think they had the Saints last week. Like, they're playing the teams are picking in the top 10.
Like, they've got the Titans coming up. I think they've got the Bengals and the Dolphins coming up.
And this sounds nuts, but if they win 11 games, May's going to get MVP votes.
Yes.
I mean, he's playing at that level right now. But I think because, where the airwaves were on, let's concentrate on the Browns real quick. Garrett had 5 sacks. I mean,
dude,
it was a madman.
First time in NFL, I think in the modern era, like Super Bowl era, or since they started tracking sacks, which was
like 1980-ish.
80?
Yeah, like right around there.
That somebody has had 5 or more sacks in a game and their team has lost by 3 or more points.
Wow.
So there had been a few instances of exactly right, of a guy having 5 or more sacks and his team lost, but it was always a 3-point or less loss.
Which makes sense. You don't get many pass rush opportunities when you're losing by 1 million.
Right.
But I think it's time for Shedeur.
Yeah? Why not?
I mean, I think Gabriel's very much showing that he has backup written all over him.
We don't think about this kind of stuff in Pittsburgh as much, Matt. But if you're Cleveland too, it might be the time where like we gotta keep people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even Halloween yet. Like we can't lose.
Someone needs to show up and buy beers on
Someone
Sunday.
needs to show up and spend $12 on a beer and $120 on a jersey and $50 for parking. That might be a good call.
I also know if Njoku and Judy and those guys will be around much longer either.
2 things that we absolutely nailed, Matt. First, the Eagles. They embarrassing performance on the road Thursday night against the Giants. Giants had some fun at their expense. We figured that the Eagles would kind of, hey, welcome back to reality here, New York, and they did. 38-20, they win. And for New York,
there's a handful of these contending teams, including Green Bay, that look like, okay, we're the tier 1.
We're starting to hit our stride.
Yeah.
And man, ugly, rough injury to Cam Scatterbill.
Yeah, I mean, Scatterbill. I love to say his name, and I sometimes make fun of him a little bit, but that's terrible. I mean, and Giants are. It's gonna be a rough year.
It sure is. It's gonna be a long rest of the season for them, I think. One thing, not to pat myself on the back, Matt, but I told you that the Bills were gonna roll in Charlotte. Hadn't won a game off of 2 straight losses and a bye. Hadn't won a game in a month. 75% Bills fans there. In Carolina, 40-9. I mean, even I didn't think it was going to be 40-9.
Utterly dominant performance, right?
Utterly dominant, and here comes Buffalo looking like the team that we kind of thought that they would.
Yeah, James Cook just rolling all over those guys, and Carolina. What I didn't see coming is I thought Dalton would be better for the Panthers. He was horrendous in this game.
Yeah, he struggled.
Yeah,
he really did. Had that bad interception, threw for just 175 yards. Matt, the Ravens. Some signs of life.
Yeah.
They win without Lamar. They moved to 2-5, 30-16 at home over the Bears, who
I think this is really unfortunate for the Steelers. They're back to being the Vegas favored odds.
How crazy!
In the AFC
I saw
North.
that this morning.
I saw that on the way in.
Ravens are the division favorite this morning once again, and according to
Vegas.
Miami
Thursday.
Very slight.
It's slight. Yeah.
But still, now is that in Miami or is that in Baltimore?
I think it's in Baltimore.
It is in Miami.
Oh, is it? Okay.
They're on the road for their next 3 at Miami, at Minnesota, at Cleveland. That's tough.
Chances of going 3-0 there is
their schedule was brutal.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that bad with road games.
3 straight road games is always a tough recipe
like
in the NFL.
Warren Sharp and these guys, the batters in particular, have done the homework. It doesn't even matter who you play, but like if you go back in NFL history, that 3rd game,
terrible.
You have like an 11% chance of winning all 3.
But the Ravens. They do have some signs of life. They Monty Python, we're not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
30-16 over Chicago, and a frustrating afternoon for Caleb Williams after he had shown a lot of steps forward in progress.
Yeah, last 2 weeks he's had a real hard time completing passes, and just when he was, and that's the thing with these quarterbacks: 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's what he's doing right now.
Maybe also. In that church pew is C.J. Stroud.
He was great.
I tell you what, 309 or 18 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Don't bury Texans. Monty Python. They're not dead yet.
Yeah,
they get to 3-4 with a impressive 26-15 win at home over the Niners.
So a couple notes from this game: they used a 6th offensive lineman more than any team in the in the league this whole season, including all the Steelers Anderson stuff. It used to be. Steelers dominated that.
They've really struggled to run the ball.
Yeah, and their line's been a nightmare, and they took a different approach. Coaches are allowed to change their tune. And their young guys really stepped up. They didn't have Nico, but the two Iowa State receivers and Woody Marks, all made a lot of plays. And Stroud was great. I mean, I'm a Stroud believer, and they took care of business. They dominated time possession this game.
They really did. They played well. I mean, they won by 11, but it was, I think, even more comfortable than that.
Yeah.
And if Stroud plays like that every week, watch out because the Texans are going to be tough.
They could make noise.
They might be too far behind to catch the Colts at this point, but they could be one of those wild card teams that nobody wants rolling into their stadium wild card weekend. A buttoned up professional performance from Tampa Bay, Matt. Yeah. 23-3 over the Saints. Nothing crazy from Baker Mayfield, threw for just 152 yards, but again, it was one of those, like, they just controlled the game from start to finish. It wasn't anything world-beating. I mean, I know they won by 20 points, but it didn't even look like that. But, again, Tampa they're one of those, didn't go their way in Detroit. They respond with a 20-point win on the road in the division. They're one of those Tier 1 teams.
They are, and you kind of laid it out exactly how I was going to say it, too. It's like they're a pretty buttoned-up organization that doesn't stumble very often. Okay, you lose in Detroit. Yeah, you lose in Detroit. And then you go to a team that you should win, and more so than most teams in the league, beat the teams you should win against. And what's interesting a little bit here is maybe it's strong to say Rattler got benched. I mean, he moved from the starting job to the bench, but I think they want to see what...
They want to see Shuck.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a knock on Rattler, but it's kind of like the Shador Dylan Gabriel stuff. We got these young guys. We at least need to know because we're going to be picking high. We need to know if we're going after a quarterback or not. Absolutely. You need all those data points on those guys at this point as you can get. At Mile High Stadium, the Broncos, another hot team. They moved to 6-2, Matt, 44-24 over the Cowboys. They were able to frustrate Dak Prescott. They ran the ball well. Mm-hmm. They looked good in those throwback uniforms, too. The Orange Crush.
The Broncos are starting to meet that preseason expectation and hype that I think we had.
Yeah, and Dallas defense is really bad. Their secondary's totally depleted. Even Surtain was in and out of the lineup in this one, too. But Denver's also pretty impressive. I mean, I think they've taken a nice step forward to, hey, we're going to be in this thing till the end.
Tell you what, Kansas City, it's like they're, that's going to be a fun battle down the stretch between those two teams.
I think the Chiefs win tonight, but they better not stumble because Chargers are strong and Denver's strong, and that division could put 3 in the playoffs for sure.
It absolutely could. And the Broncos, after a little bit of a rocky start, Bo Nix looking better too, threw for 4 touchdowns. Better. I mean, it's that Cowboys defense we all know, but still much better couple weeks for Bo Nix and Denver starting to look the part. Finally, Matt, we kind of touched on it a little bit, at least you did with some of those Jonathan Taylor numbers. 153 yards on just 12 carries. The Colts roll at home, 38-14 over the Titans. The Colts are 7-1. They're a perfect 5-0 at home. Daniel Jones, 21 of 29, 272 yards and 3 touchdown passes.
I'm totally in on the Colts. I mean, I think they're the best offense in the league, and they're good on D. And I think he should be coach of the year, and Taylor should be offensive player of the year. You know, I mean, that's he won't win MVP because he's not a quarterback, but that player of the year thing is just screaming for him. That being said, this Titans team is horrific and didn't have Jeffrey Simmons, didn't have a couple of their best players anywhere. Not that they have many to give up anyway. I mean, they were the worst team in the league yesterday.
I know we could get into this more tomorrow when we do our Tuesday power rankings, but are they the I
think they're 32.
If every team is, you're doing the what's the spread type thing, or like is even the Jets maybe a 1.5 favorite over Tennessee at this point?
I think so. And I even said that when the Titans beat the Cardinals, everyone moved them from 32 to like 29 in the power ranks. I'm like, the Jets are still better. I mean, they just are. I mean, the Cardinals fumbled going over the goal line and goofy stuff like that.
Yeah, the Titans, man. I feel for Cam Ward. You watch that game, like his body language, he's frustrated.
Real frustrated.
And
like Ridley
didn't
play. I mean, they have like 4 good players and 3 of them didn't play,
I think a lot of times fans can be hyperbolic and be like, oh, we're at rock bottom when they're like 500.
Yeah.
but this feels
Trust
like...
me, I'm sure some of the tweets we're getting, Steelers are at rock bottom. No, you have no idea what rock bottom
is. Tennessee Titans at 1-7 and not much moving, much to even hang your hat on is a tough place to be in Music City. That is for sure. There's our Sunday kind of slate covered for you. When we come back on the other side, let's close things down. I do want to talk a little bit more about that Monday Night Football game tonight because a key one for both of these teams, for the Chiefs to kind of keep pace with the Broncos and continue to look more like the Kansas City Chiefs of this past decade, and for the Commanders, a team that's now 3-4 and could be slipping away a little bit if you drop another one from a team that was just in the NFC Championship game last year. We'll talk a little Monday Night Football, get to some of your tweets as well too before we get up out of here. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment of The Drive here on a Commiseration Monday. I think we've covered the bases pretty well, Matt.
Yeah.
We will have our Tuesday rewind tomorrow and get some more into this game. Hey, it's not going anywhere for the next couple days. That's what happens when you lose.
We'll address it.
But we, I think, have done a pretty good job of covering most of the major kind of day after reactions here on this Monday. Before we talk about Monday Night Football and close down with a couple tweets, I did want to run this by you as well, too. You rightfully brought up just some of that crazy, hey, here's an early snippet at what Jonathan Taylor is doing before we get too much into the Colts this week. Did you see what the great Bob Labriola, the Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living in His Fears, he might be the Minister of Misery this week as well, too, when we talk to him on Thursday. Did you see what he sent us about Tyler Warren?
No, it's in my inbox to open. I think I got it when I was in the parking lot here.
It's crazy impressive stuff, but what really stands out to me is most receiving yards by a rookie tight end through the first 8 weeks of the season in NFL history. Tyler Warren trails only Brock Bowers in what he did last year.
Okay, which was historic.
By like 30-some yards, so not too far off.
Wow. And
Mike Ditka, all the way back in 1961.
Times were a little different back then.
Ditka. Ditka da Bears. So not only is Jonathan Taylor having one of the best rushing seasons of a running back in league history, certainly of the 21st century, Tyler Warren is doing the same for rookie tight ends.
National Tight End Day.
Just crazy. And yesterday was National. There is a National Day now for everything, isn't there?
I think so.
When's National Radio Host Day?
Exactly.
When's National Podcaster Day around these parts?
One thing about Warren, I know we'll talk a lot about the Colts, but they really scheme him up well, much like Penn State did. Like they'll give him carries and sweeps and direct snaps and things like that. And it seems like so many times when you watch him catch passes, not that he's bad on his own, he's just wide open. Mm-hmm. And they got a lot of weapons.
They got a lot of that going on the offense.
They do. They're really playing well. They're really coached well. Steelers have to play a lot better to beat that team.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I think that is that's at the forefront of all the discussions that we'll have over the next 4 days or so, as we obviously will anticipate that. And you know what? On the backdrop of that too, Matt, and we can get more into this later in the week as well, but this is the 20-year anniversary Sunday game of the Steelers' Super Bowl 40 championship team. The one for the thumb, the Jerome Bettis team in Seattle, up in Detroit. They're all in town. They've got a big alumni thing Saturday night, big alumni dinner
they'll all be at the game?
that they're doing, and then they're all getting honored at halftime.
Okay.
You can't give up 30-plus points and get diced by the Colts with these guys in attendance.
Right.
Hamp and Aaron Smith and Troy and Peasy and Potsy and Foote and Ike.
To me, that's not to the same level of the Dublin game or the Rodgers thing, but you feel their presence. I mean, there's no doubt. You walk in the sidelines and there's Troy and Ben, and come on.
I've told you this before. I don't know if I've said this on these airwaves here on The Drive. I'm sure I did at some point with the Steelers Blitz. Like, you and I are both very fortunate to do what we do. We say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
With that comes, we spend a lot of time around, quote unquote, famous people.
Right.
It takes a lot to strike me. It takes a lot for me to get starstruck.
Mm-hmm.
And you know this too, growing up, my dad was a violinist, bumped some shoulders with some musicians in my childhood too.
That are,
so
everyone would know, right?
And it even kind of my dad started that in me as a kid. They're just normal people too,
mm-hmm.
you know. It takes a lot for me to get starstruck. But man, when Mean Joe Green walks in the room, you sit up in your chair and you go. When Troy Polamalu walks by you on campus at St. Vincent College,
right.
Like, oh my goodness.
Every eye's on him still.
And there's a lot of those guys around the Steelers organization, and there will be a lot of those guys around this weekend.
Yeah.
Get it done for those boys, all right?
Their presence will be felt.
Yes, it will. It certainly will.
Rightfully so.
Chiefs at home tonight, Matt. The 4-3 Chiefs, who are playing much better as of late, hosting the 3-4 Washington Commanders, who have let a couple get away and are kind of struggling and reeling a little bit. Kansas City 9.5-point favorites tonight at home.
It's a big number. I love where Kansas City's at. They're going to be rested. Washington doesn't have Jaden Daniels.
That's huge.
Ugh. But they do have Debo and McLaurin back, it looks like.
They do. And Mariota's played okay.
He's not terrible. Yeah.
He's one of the better backups in the NFL. It's a tough spot for the Commanders.
I got to admit, when it was kind of during that Arthur Smith Falcons era, I'm like, boy, Mariota's shot. I can't believe that. I thought his career was over. He couldn't complete a pass there for a while. I'm like, poor Arthur. I mean, he doesn't have anybody that can do anything for him. And Mariota's gotten a lot better. I mean, he's a really good backup, the perfect guy to back up Jaden Daniels, mentor, not run a different offense or similar offense. I'm still taking the Chiefs at home Monday night.
I think so too.
They're really humming.
You and I have been saying this for the last 2 weeks, but I think we're all going to get to Thanksgiving and be like, here come the Chiefs.
Yeah, but they're the favorite.
They're 4-3 now. They'll be 9-4 at that point or something. I'm thinking that they have awoken there in Kansas City.
Their receivers are healthy now too. The Rashee Rice thing means a lot.
And they go out tonight and beat the Commanders by 2 scores, and that might kind of be
I could see that
the last
kind of expecting
the last thoughts of the Chiefs falling off this year. All right, Matt, couple tweets on here to get us up out of here today. A bunch of people have tweeted. Annie tweeted. Checker32 tweeted. Mike tweeted. Will tweeted, asking about your trade deadline thoughts. Would you go after a receiver? Would you go after a safety?
I know.
Would you go after both? Something else? We've still got one more game before you really have to make that decision.
I know.
Trade deadline is 8 days away.
My opinion on receiver hasn't changed. That I'm still actively talking. And Roman Wilson, we should have mentioned he had a nice game.
He
2
absolutely
weeks in
did.
a row.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling visiting the Steelers today as well, too. I don't know if you saw
really?
that.
I didn't.
MVS in town for a visit, according to Jordan Schultz.
Okay. So, they still have the door open to bring a guy in. And I would, too. There's some good names out there. All these, of course, it goes without saying, depends what you have to pay and the contracts and all that stuff, too. We haven't talked much about the injuries. I guess that's something we'll know more tomorrow, but I don't have any faith that Elliott's going to be back, right? I don't mean to plant seeds that aren't there.
But a lot of times too, you can kind of the tone and posture of Mike Tomlin's postgame when he discusses the injuries.
Sometimes season enders.
Kind of sounded a little bit like the same type of tone he took with Miles Killebrew a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and he's usually very clear if he thinks it's just bumps and bruises associated with play,
or we'll evaluate it later in the week.
We'll evaluate it later in the week when he kind of says right away that it's it's going to be something significant.
Significant's a bad word.
Or long term.
So I'm not counting on Elliott for the rest of the year, but that's more of a tomorrow project. It'd be nice to say I'd like to get a 6th offensive lineman, but you're not going to, so I'm not even going to pretend.
Yeah.
Now, this is more of a down the line and beat reporter conversation too, maybe, does Ramsey become more of a full-time safety? It's
funny you say that.
Yeah.
Matt, I'm a dork like you, but in kind of a different sense, all right? So you lay there in bed at night and think about what player you would add from each team and you go across the divisions.
Yeah.
I sit there in bed at night and lay out the show the rest of the week in my mind. And one of the things that I had for tomorrow when we do our Tuesday rewatch is to talk more about Ramsey, safety, especially if
just the secondary as a whole.
We'll have
who's the best guys.
We'll have Mike Tomlin's press conference tomorrow too before we go on air, so we could have more clarity around the Sean Elliott. So let's table that one for tomorrow and talk.
Because potentially you could trade for a corner and make Ramsey a safety, or you know what I mean.
Or you could just say, you know what, Joey Porter Jr., Brandon Echols, let's go.
I sorting out your best 5 in your pecking order, your best 6 defensive backs now is going to be a challenge. And I think there's a couple of ways to skin that cat,
Completely agree. Funny tweet here from Brad. He goes, sure, I know we're spending the day detailing the coverage failures and the performance of the defense, but let's not truly miss the momentous occurrence that we witnessed yesterday. Spencer Anderson, 1 target, 1 catch, 4 yards, so the legend begins.
How about it?
And then he had to move into guard. I mean, I tell you what, but that was, you guys should have seen Max Starks
I can't
jump, to use a Halloween reference, jumping up and down like a 10-year-old on Halloween when they put on their Power Rangers costume.
Yeah.
Starks was so excited about that.
That's awesome. I can't believe they actually threw it to him.
I can't either, especially in like a situation like that.
Right.
It wasn't we're at the goal line, this is a gadget type play. Like this is like in the
tackle
open,
eligible,
in the open field, Aaron Rodgers throwing it to him. Couple more here. Swing State Sampson tweets and says, now that we have a pretty solid sample size, what 3 to 5 quarterbacks in college football do you think are worthy of a first-round pick as of now? We'll get plenty more into this on Wednesday. This is a Wednesday around campus thing, and I'm really excited for the conversation
good
for this week.
I watched more than usual college football this Saturday.
I'm even more excited for it then. But Fernando Mendoza, absolutely. Dante Moore, absolutely. Lenoris Sellers, absolutely.
I was very impressed with Sellers.
His maybe best performance, or maybe since that opener against Virginia Tech, the best that he's looked. I know he's only started 7 games in his collegiate career, but I am loving Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, what we've seen from him.
I would say Simpson also.
Man, I really like what we've seen from him. So those are 4 that I think are going to be pretty clear cut if they all decide to come out, because Dante Moore and I think Simpson too could come back for another year if they wanted.
Sellers could too.
Sellers could come back. I think Mendoza's the only one who is for sure coming out. Now, he won't be the only one, but
no.
But there's 4 names for you that I absolutely think are at the top of the pecking order, and there's probably 5 other names that we should discuss that we will on Wednesday.
And LSU made a coaching change, right? Yeah.
What already, Matt, and there's going to be more. It's not even Halloween. LSU, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, UCLA.
Holy smokes. I didn't realize there was that many.
These
are big-time programs.
Big-time programs.
Yeah. Wow.
Especially Penn State, Florida, LSU.
And Penn State, yeah. LSU, right.
I was getting into this with Max a little bit yesterday because, he's a proud Florida Gator.
Of course.
I told him, that I think LSU is a much better job and one of the top 5 jobs in college football. And
I lean towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The unquestioned best 4 jobs, in my own personal humble opinion, in college football are Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, LSU.
Not Georgia.
They would be in the conversation for 5.
Okay.
It'd be them, USC, and Michigan would be in my conversation for when you consider.
I would think USC's a little behind.
They are, but
recently, but
resources, the money, the recruiting area, the history.
That's
what, for job ranking best jobs, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Notre Dame's not there.
Notre Dame would be close too.
Okay, they're not crazy.
They're just not.
Oklahoma.
The Oklahoma would be in the top 10.
Okay.
But think of the recruiting area and the money, the Texas, Alabama, LSU.
Trust me, I watched Texas recruiting film. It's different than everywhere else.
Yeah. And
they have so much money.
They do. And Ohio, I mean, the history, the tradition, all those things. That's a fun. Maybe once the draft, maybe that's something we can in the off season when we need to kill a segment, talk a little bit more about. Last one here today, Matt. Chris, you laughed, and we did get a couple of these, but this is the one I'll go with. He said, boys, I think we are way past panic time. It's time to go straight to the season is done. The defensive concepts haven't changed. It's mind-boggling. Every team knows how to attack this team. I don't disagree. The first part of that,
they need to reevaluate.
The first part of that, of it's done and blow it up and everything.
Yeah. I'm not there.
It ain't over till it's over. But I do agree that as you mentioned, it's time to change something. You cannot do the definition of insanity thing
right
now, 7 games into the season.
I think you have to take a microscope to every aspect of your defense.
That's a very good way to put it.
Especially your pass defense.
No stone left unturned.
Right. And be willing to make hard decisions.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that's the deal.
That's it. And that is, hey, fortune favors the bold. So I've been told. And we'll see what that looks like this week for the Steelers. That'll do it for us today. It'll be a big day tomorrow. We'll get into some Tuesday rewatch stuff. I do want to talk about some of that Ramsey and secondary stuff that Matt brought up there as well, too. We'll dive deeper into that. We will have a Mike Tomlin press conference tomorrow by the time we go on air. So maybe some injury clarity.
Yeah, I'm not
by
Hold
that
my breath for good news.
by that standpoint. Yeah. And plenty more to get to on a busy Tuesday as well too. Thanks to Rob King for joining us here on this Monday, and a big shout out as always to Matt Williamson. I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. Thanks for those of you that tweeted in and participated. As always, you know where to find us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and the gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.